प्रमाण मिल जाएगा कि वो इस जन्मभूमि पे ही अवैध रूप से बनाए गए वो जो है शाही ईदगाह है।
वो ऑलरेडी प्रूवन है कि यहाँ पर ईदगाह है, वहाँ पर मंदिर है। लीगल एक्सपर्ट्स ये उनका मानना ये है कि सिविल डिस्प्यूट में अगर कोई सर्वे होता है तो लास्ट रिसॉर्ट होता है। आप पहला रिसॉर्ट में सर्वे कर रहे हैं।
Namaste, Jai Hind and welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. In May 2022, over a petition in the Krishna Janm versus Shahi Idgah case, there are many petitions in this matter at various courts. We are talking about the local court in Mathura, which upheld the maintainability of this civil suit, which said that this 13.37 acres of land on which the Krishna Janm that is what was deemed, there is the Shahi Idgah. This has been built over what land belongs to, which is actually Krishna Janmabhoomi or Krishna Janmasthan, and that this land should be given back to the Hindus and should be once again be the temple, because this Idgah has been illegally constructed. It also challenged, ladies and gentlemen, the agreement that was made between the Hindu side and the Muslim side in 1968 and deemed that agreement as illegal. Let's try and understand what the court did on the 24th of December as it passed this order just about 2 days ago, where the court said it ordered the court officer or the revenue official attached to the civil court, who's called the Amin, to go and do a nirikshan, survey, match it with the land records, match it with the papers, see what is present there, and also perhaps measure this entire land area. Is it 13.37 acres? Is there a structure which shows that the origin of the character? What is it? Has this structure been built on this land, this area which has been claimed by the Hindu Paksha's Krishna Janmasthan? Go ahead and do this. Now the order, the report has to be presented in a few days. The order actually says it has to be done inside of 3 days and then presented before the court, and the next hearing is sometime around the 20th of January. Let's try and understand what both sides are actually saying, and then we'll dive into the debate, ladies and gentlemen. What the Hindu Paksha is saying is that the Idgah is actually has been built on Krishna Janmasthan, the actual birthplace of Krishna. Aurangzeb demolished this Krishna temple, and it was demolished in the 1600s. The Idgah was constructed on the ruins in 1669, 1670. That's what it says. The Idgah or the mosque should actually be demolished. Aurangzeb. But what does the Muslim side says? That the Idgah or this mosque comes under the Places of Worship Act or the POW Act 1991. The Hindu side actually signed an agreement in 1968. Like I said, the veracity of that agreement and that it should be deemed illegal has also been challenged by this petition by a Hindu Sena leader. Hindu side has twisted the facts in court, and this survey shouldn't be used as the first resort. This is what you heard Asaduddin Owaisi also say, that land records or a survey is actually something which is supposed to be the last resort. The question, ladies and gentlemen, is that area 13.37 acres? Is this structure standing upon a place whose original character is different? Now, if you look at Ram Janmabhoomi, there is Kashi Vishwanath or Gyanvapi and Krishna Janmabhoomi. Three critical areas, three critical aspects of Hindu Astha which have constantly been under question, and because this has been challenged in the courts now as a civil or a land dispute, then comes into play the Places of Worship Act 1991, beg your pardon. The larger question we are asking is, why should there be such nervousness and why be rattled by just a survey? All that the court has said is go ahead and check whether what is being claimed by one of the plaintiffs, is that true or false? What is wrong with going ahead and checking this? Is a question that we are asking. There are others who believe, why do you want to do it now? Ranjana Agnihotri, senior advocate and also petitioner in one of the many cases around the Krishna Janmabhoomi, is with us. Ashwini Upadhyay, advocate, with us. He's somebody who's been actively involved in questioning the Places of Worship Act 1991 itself and its veracity, and he deems that this itself is wide our constitution ab initio in the first place. Nirwa Mehta, editor OpIndia, who's also done their publication, has done a big story on this entire aspect and the dynamics of it. And we also have Syeda Falakk ji, leader of the AIMIM. Let me start with Ranjana Agnihotri. Ranjana ji, one of the aspects is many people have come forth and said they have claimed this is Krishna Janm Sthan. They believe that this Idgah is illegal. But there is also this agreement between the Hindu Paksh and the Muslim Paksh, which was signed in 1968. And somehow, through some convoluted narrow pathways and then bending your head down and going there is access to the Krishna Janm Sthan which is provided. So why rake up a settled issue is one of the core aspects. Where do you stand on this? Your audio is not... now I can hear you. Please go ahead.
2020. And thereafter an appeal was filed. Appeal was allowed. Hence the matter is before everybody. The compromise dated 12th August 1968 was challenged. Because those persons who were not representing the entire Hindu community, they fraudulently entered in the compromise and obtained degree from the court by playing fraud upon the court. Those persons who obtained the degree by taking stake of the Lord Krishna's deity's property. No one has right to alienate or to subjudice or to manipulate the property of the deity. So these persons have did this. We have challenged this. One of the prayer in this suit was this. Second question comes before everybody is why this suit has been filed and Act of 1991 is coming in the way. If you go through the entire Act and Section 4(3) of subclause B, subclause A and B of the 1991 Act, it is very specific. It says, I am having a copy of the Act, and it is Section 4, subsection 3B. Any suit, appeal or other proceeding with respect to any matter referred to subsection 2 finally decided settled, it will not apply. We have mentioned each and everything in our suit, and we have placed that this suit is not applying in these circumstances. Second thing is this: Supreme Court in many cases have rendered and passed orders that whenever fraud comes in the light of any person, you can pray before the court via legal methods and legal methodologies.
Right.
So we have come before the court for our Lord Krishna's Janm Bhoomi, or deity is a perpetual minor. No one can alienate or misappropriate the property of the deity. For welfare of the deity, we have came before the court, and a court, after due satisfaction, considered my case and allowed the appeal.
Syeda Falakk ji, where do you stand on this? It's just a survey, and that too by a court, who has to just see if the records as it is detailed, does it match what is being seen there? That's what the court, has to do as per the court. Why such a hue and cry about a normal survey?
No, we are not afraid of the survey. See, we are raising our voice because the civil court order is wrong. We disagree with the order, and the court has violated the 1991 Places of Worship Act, which prohibits conversion of any place of worship. And when already a compromise agreement was made between the Shri Krishna Janmastan Seva Sangh and Idgah Trust, then why the survey is required? Just to create enmity between Hindus and Muslims, right? It will help the BJP to win the elections. Clearly, with Ayodhya in their kitty, now Kashi and Mathura are now the focus of the temple movement fueled by BJP. The slogan, Ayodhya to sirf jhanki hai, Kashi Mathura abhi baki hai, epitomizes the Hindutva aspirations. The survey will only create enmity between Hindus and Muslims, and we hope we hope the Idgah Trust
what kind of votes would
will appeal against this order in the court.
So my question to ask you is that why aren't you turning around as a citizen of this country and asking why only Ayodhya, Kashi and Mathura are spoken about? What is the history behind this place?
Sir, Mr. Anand, have you read the 1991 Places of Worship Act?
I have.
Why all this is coming now?
No,
those masjids are built from hundreds of years ago.
By who?
Why the survey is
No, no,
required?
who built those? Who built
Why?
those? No, no, who built those, Syeda ji? Who built those?
Whoever built those.
No, no, who
masjids
built
are there
those?
from,
No, no, you
many
know who
years,
built it.
many years.
No, I am asking you very pointed. Please answer my question. Do you know who built this? After breaking down structures which existed there, right? That's there documented in history.
How can you tell that? How can you tell
It's
that?
ma'am, it's documented. Ma'am, it's documented in history. My question to
There
you
is
is
no clear
no.
proof.
My
There
question
is
to you
no
is
clear
you are
evidence.
okay. You are okay with somebody who breaks down a religious structure in our country and
I'm
builds
not
another
okay
structure
with
there.
that, and there is
Are you
no
okay with
evidence
such a
that the
person?
Temples were broken
Are
down.
you
and then
okay
masjids
with
were
that
built.
person? Are you
There
okay
is
with
no
such a person?
Clear evidence.
Are
No,
you?
I'm not okay.
You are
I'm
not okay.
but
If
that
you are
does
not okay,
happen.
let
There
me
is
tell
no
you,
evidence
ma'am.
at all.
Let me ask
There
you
is no
this: if
evidence
you are
at all.
not okay with such a person, ma'am, then why is it that a leader of your party goes to the mazar of this person and lays a chadar there?
Why not? Why not?
Now you said you are not okay with such a person, and now you are saying why not? You are okay with Akbaruddin Owaisi going to the mazar of Aurangzeb and laying a chadar, despite knowing fully well that this is a man who destroyed structures which belong to the faith of fellow Hindustanis.
You have no evidence to prove that.
There is multiple
There is
evidence,
no
not just with
evidence.
Mathura,
Even
ma'am.
the
It is
Ram
there.
Mandir,
Evidence is there with
the
Gyanwapi
Babri
in
was-
Kashi.
the Babri
Evidence,
verdict was made
evidence
based on
is
faith,
there.
not on
Evidence is
fact.
there in multiple cases.
Babri
Now
was-
you
the
cannot
verdict
selectively
was
decide.
based on faith,
My
not
point
on
is,
fact.
Saida ji, you got caught here,
It is
ma'am.
just the faith
You
of-
got caught here, ma'am. You got caught here in the fact that somebody breaks down the structure belonging to the faith of other Hindustanis and builds another structure, but you will celebrate that
Anand,
person and lay down a
Mr.
chadar
Anand,
there. But you will have a,
these
but you still have a
decisions are being
problem
based on
with those
faith,
people who
not
believe
on
they have
facts.
been wrong.
Just
They
like
go to the
Babri's
doors of the
verdict.
court. But you asked about the Places of Worship Act 1991. So let me ask Ashwini Upadhyay. The Places of Worship Act 1991, quoted by Ranjana Agnihotri ji, quoted by Syeda Falakk ji, quoted by Mr. Asaduddin Owaisi also, saying that the Places of Worship Act 1991 forbids you from talking about these structures. Ashwini ji.
यस देखिए, प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट कहीं पे भी सर्वे कराने के लिए नहीं मना करता। वो कहीं ये जाके वहां पे देखने के लिए कि उसका वास्तव में वो है क्या, वो मंदिर है कि मस्जिद है, इस बात को सर्वे कराने के लिए प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट बिल्कुल नहीं रोकता है। प्लेसेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट पे PIL पेंडिंग है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में। 9 जनवरी को नेक्स्ट मंडे को इस पे नेक्स्ट टू नेक्स्ट मंडे इस पे सुप्रीम कोर्ट में सुनवाई है। एक बात जरूर मैं कहना चाहूंगा आनंद भाई, 85 देश हैं क्रिश्चियंस के, 85 कंट्रीज दुनिया में। उन 85 देशों में किसी चर्च के ऊपर किसी की हिम्मत नहीं गैर क्रिश्चियंस की आके कोई उंगली उठा दे। 55 देश हैं मुस्लिम्स के, उन 55 देशों में किसी गैर मुस्लिम की हिम्मत नहीं कि किसी मस्जिद के ऊपर कोई आके सवाल खड़ा कर दे। हिंदू पूरी दुनिया में आखिर हिंदुओं के लिए कोई एक देश होना चाहिए कि नहीं? अगर हिंदुस्तान में भी हिंदू अपने मंदिरों को वापस नहीं ले पाएंगे कोर्ट के जरिए जाके, तो दुनिया का ऐसा कौन सा देश है जहां हिंदुओं की कोई इज्जत बची है? आज हम आजादी की 75वीं वर्षगांठ मना रहे हैं और हमें इतनी कल्चरल फ्रीडम भी नहीं है कि हम कोर्ट जाके अपने भगवान को जिनकी गीता को पूरी दुनिया में पढ़ती है, जिनकी भगवत गीता पे पूरी दुनिया में रिसर्च होता है, उस अपने भगवान के जन्म स्थान को मुक्त कराने के लिए अगर हम कोर्ट जाते हैं तो ऐसे तथाकथित सेकुलर लोग आके उसका विरोध करते हैं। एक बात जरूर आप समझिए, काशी, मथुरा, अयोध्या, भद्रकाली, भोजशाला, इन मंदिरों के लिए हमारे पूर्वजों ने अपनी जान गंवाई है। बहुत सारे लोगों को तलवारों से काटा गया है। ऐसा नहीं कि औरंगजेब आया मंदिर तोड़ दिया चुपचाप, किसी ने विरोध नहीं किया। हमारे पूर्वजों ने उसका विरोध किया और उसके कारण लाखों लोगों की हत्या हो चुकी है, तब जाके मंदिर तोड़ा गया है आनंद जी। ऐसा नहीं कि वो आया मंदिर तोड़ दिया, किसी ने विरोध नहीं किया, लेकिन उस समय उनकी मजबूरी थी। नहीं, वो बेचारे मारे गए हमारे।
Ashwini ji, Syeda Falakk wants to respond and then I'll take this further. Syeda Falakk wants to respond and I'll take this further. जी
सर पहले तो आप अपने दिमाग में ये बात डाल लीजिए कि है सो हिंदुओं के लिए क्या एक भी कंट्री नहीं होनी चाहिए? बिल्कुल होनी चाहिए भाई। इंडिया हिंदूज के लिए है, और लेकिन उसके साथ साथ इंडिया सेक्युलर है, मुस्लिम्स के लिए भी है, सिख्स के लिए भी है, ईसाई के लिए भी है, हर रिलीजन के लिए है। आप ये मत सोचिए कि जो है ना इंडिया सिर्फ हिंदूज के लिए है। भाई आपको खाली हिंदू कंट्री चाहिए तो आप जाइए नेपाल, जाइए, आप जाइए नेपाल। इंडिया इज अ सेक्युलर कंट्री, ठीक है?
ये एक बात है, सईदा जी कह रहे हैं, नहीं सईदा जी 1 मिनट, सईदा जी
एक मिनट, आनंद, जस्ट ए मिनट
जी,
मेरे को ये बताओ 55 मुस्लिम कंट्री हैं, वो सेकुलर क्यों नहीं है? अरे इंडिया सेकुलर है क्योंकि यहाँ हिंदू मेजोरिटी में है।
वो मुस्लिम कंट्री है,
कोई एक कंट्री बता दो, पाकिस्तान क्यों?
I'll tell you, no, 1 minute, Syeda Falakk, 1 minute, Syeda Falakk, 1 minute, Syeda Falakk, 1 minute, ma'am. With due respect to you, to Ashwini Upadhyay, and to every viewer and every person, don't use this word secular for multicultural and pluralistic. India is a pluralistic country where every faith gets samabhav. That means equal respect. So in that case, ma'am, if Hindus want equal respect, they have a right to ask for equal respect. And ma'am, you are nobody to tell a Hindu in Hindustan that if you believe Hindus deserve rights, you go to Nepal. Sorry, ma'am.
No.
You have used the wrong expression there. Secondly, wait a minute, ma'am. Wait a minute. If you believe you are secular, if you believe Bharat is secular, then religion should be separate from governance, from the state. That's what secular means. So kindly stop debasing this language, this word any further. No, Syeda ji, don't use this word secular where you should use pluralistic. Use pluralistic, use multicultural, don't use the word secular because you are debasing the word. You are abusing the word. Secondly, ma'am, in this country, as per the constitution of this country, 1 minute, ma'am, let me complete. I have not completed. 1 minute, ma'am, let me complete, ma'am. Let me complete. Please don't shout over me. I don't want to shout over you, ma'am. Syeda ji, no, ma'am. For you to turn around and tell any Hindu in this country that leave this country and go and live in Nepal, you got no business saying that. Just like no Hindu in this country has got any business telling any Muslim of this country, go live in another country. So what you have said is objectionable. What you have said is misconstrued. It's a wrong use of vocabulary, and the word secular should not be used in this context at all. One more point, ma'am, let me tell you. Every Hindu has a right to propagate their religion and their faith because that is accorded by the constitution. And if there is another faith and community which is sitting on what Hindus believe is their place of worship and faith, then it is a responsibility of that Hindustani as part of a Hindustan to not contest that and to give that up. Because, ma'am, as per the tenets of Islam, it is un-Islamic for an Islamic structure, and it is mentioned in the Janm case by the Honorable Supreme Court in their judgment that any structure which is standing on another religious structure is deemed un-Islamic, madam. And if there are certain sections of Hindustanis in this country who continue to believe that they can continue to have these structures and call them Islamic, then they are doing a disservice to the faith of Islam also. Let me quote the judgments very, very clearly and objectively. So, ma'am, Syeda Falakk ji, for the case of politics, don't try and misconstrue words, misconstrue judgments, and misinterpret laws of this country, because laws of this country are equal to every citizen. Every Hindu in this country does not need to be apologetic for being a Hindu, and we don't need any political leader to turn around and tell any other citizen that you should go and live in some other country. For you to say that is objectionable and regrettable, ma'am. And no, you don't have the right to insult and abuse anybody else. You don't have the right. The rights are equal to every citizen, Syeda Falakk ji. The rights are equal to you as a Muslim, as a faith. The rights are equal to Ashwini Upadhyay and Ranjana Agnihotri as a Hindu. The rights are equal to any other person following any faith, because the law is equal for all. And they have the right to seek legal recourse. And please, ma'am, from today, don't use this word secular to try and debase and play appeasement politics. Use multicultural, use pluralistic, don't use the word secular. Correct your dictionary and your lexicon. To everybody. Nirwa Mehta. Now the other part, Nirwa Mehta. My point is, ma'am, is it wrong to legally ask for justification? Places of Worship Act 1991 says the religious character cannot be changed. What is the religious character? Who will decide? Secondly, if there are structures that have been built by invaders, by those who force themselves, should the court, when it says go and first do a land survey, Why such a hue and cry about a land survey? This is not judgment. This is just going to ascertain whether that land is actually 13.37 acres. Whether that land is actually, whether that structure, the Idgah, has been built on a land which is claimed by the Hindus or the Hindu Paksh as land belonging to Krishna Janm Sthan.
Yeah, Anand. So, scratch a Vivadik Dhacha in India and you'll find the temple in the red. Sitaram Goyal in his book wrote about how there are 1800 such Hindu temples which are destroyed and now Islamic structures stand on them, like the mosque or dargah or such structures. The Places of Worship Act is one of the biggest hurdles when it comes to Hindus for reclaiming their temples, and it is unfortunate because they just decided arbitrarily that the date on 15th August 1947, the day we got independence, is the day if the original structure is, the essence character will remain that. But the disputes were not really resolved, right? And 1947 also, just because that was the day India got independent doesn't mean that these issues or the claims were started after that. Hindus have
does that law actually, Nirwa Mehta, if you study, it's a one-page law. Does that law actually give a justification as to why this date has been decided? On what basis this date has been decided?
It doesn't.
And the other thing is, does it distinguish between a place of worship and a place of prayer?
No, it doesn't. In fact, what is unfortunate is, they all say that peace and injustice cannot coexist. That's what everyone keeps saying, which is true. But having said that, what about the injustice that has been meted out to all these years? The barbarians, the invaders, didn't just destroy these places of worship, the temples. They left the remains as is, so as a part of humiliation. Ki dekho, हमने तुम्हारा मंदिर तोड़ा और ये तुम्हारा now our structure stands there. You will not be able to pray here, but look at it every day. That's how you look at the Gyangapi Mandir. The Vivadik Dhacha there has the structures, the temple structures there. Go to Qutub Minar in Delhi, you will see the Ghantamala and all. There are the images of humans.
No, but then Nirwa Mehta, as per the Supreme Court's order in the Ram Janmabhoomi case, these structures then become un-Islamic by default because it's a court order.
Yeah.
And it is as per the tenets of the scriptures in Islam itself that you are not supposed to build a religious structure over what is a pre-existing religious structure. That's what the core tenets of Islam themselves say. Then I have a question to ask Ashwini Upadhyay. Is it pure ego then? And then the other aspect, Places of Worship Act 1991, behind which everything is hidden, saying that this act protects all other monuments. My point is, sir, it protects monuments of worship. Is there a difference between worship and prayer? Is this a constitutionally strong law? And are you going to, is that where it all hinges upon? Or are civil disputes, land disputes outside the purview of the Places of Worship Act? Ranjana ji, coming to you after Ashwini Upadhyay.
Anand ji, there is a complete total difference between place of worship and place of prayer. Unfortunately, the name of the law is the place of worship, but it was made to protect the place of prayer. Temple is a place of worship and mosque is a place of prayer. This is the difference. Place of worship का मतलब ये होगा एक पूजा स्थल, अगर आप उसको हिंदी में कहिए तो उसका नाम है पूजा स्थल कानून. मस्जिद कानून नहीं उसका नाम है, और मस्जिद कभी पूजा स्थल नहीं होता. पूजा स्थल का मतलब ये हुआ जहां पे प्राण प्रतिष्ठा हुई, भूमि पूजन हुआ, वहां पे मूर्ति की स्थापना हुई, उसको कहते हैं पूजा स्थल, उसको कहते हैं मंदिर. जहां पे मूर्ति की पूजा की जाती है उसको कहते हैं पूजा स्थल. प्लेस ऑफ प्रेयर यानी मास्क उसको कहते हैं जहां आप बैठ के प्रेयर करते हैं, लेकिन वहां किसी की पूजा नहीं करते, किसी मूर्ति की पूजा नहीं करते. आपका मुंह पश्चिम की तरफ होता है, मक्का की तरफ, उसको कहते हैं मस्जिद, उसको कहते हैं प्लेस ऑफ प्रेयर. प्लेस वन से प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप, ऑलवेज ए प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप. क्यों? क्योंकि एक बार आपने भूमि पूजन कर दिया, मूर्ति की प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर दिया, उसके बाद उस स्थान के मालिक वो देवता हो जाते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल,
वो मूर्ति नहीं होती, वो लिविंग डेटी हो जाता है, यानी देवता हो जाते हैं. There is a very clear difference, and the law and the constitution gives the deity living rights, perennial living rights. A deity is perennially living in the same status. Yes, Ashwini. Yes.
Yes. मैं अपने घर के बाहर एक मंदिर बना दूं या अपने खेत में मंदिर बना दूं या कहीं पे भी मंदिर बना दूं, अपनी जमीन खरीद के बनाऊं, अपने घर अपनी पैतृक जो हमारी पुरानी जमीन है, फादर की जमीन, उसमें बना दूं, लेकिन अगर हमने वहां पे प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर दिया, मूर्ति की स्थापना कर दिया, तो वो जो मंदिर का क्षेत्र है वो हमारा नहीं, वो देवता का हो गया। अब उसके बाद उस जमीन का ना मैं सौदा कर सकता हूं, ना किसी के साथ एग्रीमेंट कर सकता हूं, कुछ नहीं कर सकता हूं। और मंदिर तो बनाना छोड़िए, घर के सामने अगर एक नीम का पेड़ है, पीपल का पेड़ है, उस पीपल के पेड़ के नीचे हमने मूर्ति रख के अगर प्राण प्रतिष्ठा कर दिया, तो उस पीपल के पेड़ के आसपास की जो जमीन है जहां वो भगवान शिव का शिवलिंग रखा हुआ या हनुमान जी की मूर्ति रखी है, वो हमारी नहीं हुई। जब हमारी नहीं हुई तो हम किसी के साथ एग्रीमेंट कैसे कर सकते हैं, किसी के साथ हम उसको बेच कैसे सकते हैं?
लेकिन इस देश का कानून ये भी कहता है, अश्विनी जी, इस देश का कानून ये भी कहता है ये जो जमीन जिस पर आप प्राण प्रतिष्ठा करते हैं वो लीगली ऑब्टेन्ड होनी चाहिए, वो एनक्रोच्ड और ऑक्यूपाइड नहीं होनी चाहिए, और ये किसी फ्रॉडुलेंट तरीके से कब्जा करने की साजिश नहीं होनी चाहिए। नहीं, लेकिन ये बात भी कही जाती है कि ओरिजिनल character is the place of the living deity. There are two aspects. The scriptures of Islam very clearly say that you cannot build a place of prayer over another place of ibadat or another place of worship or prayer. You have to, that structure has to be where you build it, that land has to be legally bought, it has to be clear of any other issues, and then you have to build the place of prayer. That's the scriptures in Islam say. In Hinduism and in Sanatan Pratha, what we believe, what is believed is that once you have the land, you have installed the deity there with pran pratishtha, with proper Vedic rituals, you infuse life into that idol or stone, which then becomes a living deity. And that living deity is perennially in that particular state. So that's why a Krishna Janmasthan is different from a Banke Bihari, because the status of the deity is different.
Yes.
That's the whole understanding. Ranjana ji, you wanted to come in on Places of Worship Act and the aspect of secular earlier. Syeda ji, coming back to you after Ranjana ji. Ji.
This is not a simple matter of temple. It is the matter of birthplace. Unlike Jerusalem and Makkah, it should not be changed. We can build temple at any place, mosque at any place, but so far as matter of Janm is concerned, it is not changeable. Where Lord Vishnu in the form of human incarnated as Lord Krishna with 24 colors. So it is very important, like Mathura, Maya, Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya, Kashi, Kanchi. This is the Mokshadani Nagari. And Supreme Court in Ram Janmabhoomi case, Supreme Court held that whenever there is a dispute between fundamental rights of two people, two persons, so fundamental right of superior fundamental right will prevail. This has been rendered by Honorable Supreme Court. Here I am explaining how fundamental right is mine is superior, because from the darshan of Shri Krishna Janmabhoomi we get salvation, and in Islam there is no mention where these people were pursue namaz over there, they will get salvated. So this is my superior fundamental right. Second thing, I am coming to 1991 Act. 1991 Act, Section 4, Subsection 3B is very clear. I am again reading this. Nothing contained in Subsection 1. Section 2 shall apply. Any suit, appeal or other proceeding with respect to any matter referred to Subsection 2 finally decided, settled. Here the decree has been obtained by playing fraud upon the court on the basis of forged compromise. Those persons who entered into compromise were not entitled to enter in the compromise, because no one has right to alienate their property. They were not representing the entire Hindu community. Suppose I am saying that I am representing entire Hindu community.
No, but that is the claim of the claim of the petitioner, and this is what you have to legally win the challenge in court. The point right now is why object to a basic court? I mean, civil court officers checking of the land records and measuring of the area. That's all that's been ordered by the court. It's not said that you do a full detailed survey, go into the Tekhana, go above, go there. That's not been ordered. What's been ordered right now? And I'm reading that order very clearly. हिंदी में ही लिखा है वो ऑर्डर है. मैं जरा मेरे पास ये ऑर्डर यहाँ खुला है, मैं पढ़ रहा हूँ उसको. इसमें इन्होंने सिर्फ ये लिखा है, बाबत मौके की अमीन आख्या मंगाए जाने पर वादीगण के विद्वान अधिवक्ता को सुना, प्रार्थना पत्र 9 बजरिए अमीन अदालत मौके की आख्या मंगाए जाने, न्यायालय के आदेश व नोटिस की तामील कराए जाने हेतु प्रस्तुत किया गया है. अदालत अमीन को आदेशित किया जाता है कि उभय पक्ष को सूचित करते हुए विवादित स्थल का निरीक्षण कर अपनी आख्यामय मानचित्र नियत तिथि का तक न्यायालय में प्रस्तुत करना सुनिश्चित करें. तदनुसार वादीगण आवश्यक पैरवी अंदर 3 दिन करे. प्रतिवादीगण पर समन नोटिस नियमानुसार जारी हो. तदनुसार प्रार्थना पत्र 9 निस्तारित किया जाता है. What's been told is that the civil court Amin has to just go ahead and verify the land records, measure the area which is there as per the records and come back and submit a report in 3 days. इसमें आपको कौन सी पॉलिटिक्स दिख गई? ये तो कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है. इस कोर्ट के ऑर्डर को भी आप गलत कैसे ठहरा रहे हैं? That's where the core crux comes down to. Rest of it is all subject matter of proving in court whatever the claim which is being made by the Hindu Paksh. Ranjana ji, sorry, please complete and then Syeda Falakk.
अगर किसी को कोर्ट का ऑर्डर गलत लगता है तो देयर इज ए रेमेडी बिफोर द हायर कोर्ट. दे कैन चैलेंज दिस ऑर्डर बिफोर द हायर कोर्ट देन सुप्रीम कोर्ट. यहाँ ह्यू एंड क्राई की जरूरत नहीं है, भय की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. यहाँ तो ऑर्डर हैज बीन पास ओनली टू डू सुपरफिशियल सर्वे. वहाँ कोई एक्सकेवेशन नहीं है, कोई एएसआई की खुदाई नहीं होने जा रही, कोई जीपीआर सर्वे नहीं होने जा रहा. अगर सुपरफिशियल भी हमको इंस्पेक्शन करने के लिए नहीं देंगे तो ये वायलेशन तो मेरे फंडामेंटल राइट का वायलेशन. और कोर्ट ने ऑर्डर किया, हम सड़क पर तलवारें लेके नहीं चले आए एआईएम की तरीके से कि भगवान राम को भी उल्टे सीधे शब्दों से नवाजें. ये कहें ये अपनी पार्टी का नाम मुसलमान रखे तो ये सेकुलर. और हम लोग अगर अपने राइट के लिए, फंडामेंटल राइट के लिए हम ड्यू कोर्स ऑफ लॉ अगर हम आते हैं तो हमारे लिए
मैं सिर्फ एक और बात कहता हूं. फिर से ये जो सेक्युलर शब्द है ना, ये इसको इतना डिबेस करके इसका गलत प्रयोग किया जा रहा है. रंजना जी, हमें बंद कर देना चाहिए, क्योंकि ये सेक्युलर बात नहीं है. इसका मतलब है कि आप अपने आप को मुस्लिमीन एआईएमआईएम कहते हैं, लेकिन आप सर्वधर्म संभावी हैं. दैट मीन्स यू आर इक्वानिमस टू ऑल रिलीजन, यू आर प्लूरलिस्टिक इन नेचर. बट आप एक एज एन इंडिविजुअल पर्सन है, एज ए हिंदू सेना, एज ए हिंदू पक्ष आप चले जाते हैं तो आप कम्युनल है, आप सिर्फ हिंदू की बात करते हैं. दिस इज द होल नैरेटिव सेट. द वर्ड सेक्युलर डज नॉट अप्लाई हियर. सो दैट्स समथिंग व्हिच ऑल ऑफ अस नीड टू करेक्ट आवरसेल्व्स. यस, सईदा फलक.
अभी अश्विनी उपाध्याय जी ने कहा था कि वंस अ प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप विल ऑलवेज रिमेन अ प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप. तो हम भी यही मानते हैं कि जब एक जगह मस्जिद बन जाती है तो क़यामत तक वो मस्जिद ही रहती है और हम उसे टूटने नहीं देंगे ना.
वो मस्जिद बनाने का तरीका क्या है? आप ही के स्क्रिप्चर्स में बताइए सईदा जी. आप ही के स्क्रिप्चर्स में मस्जिद बनाने मस्जिद कैसे बनती है? मस्जिद कैसे बनती है? उसका क्या इस्लामिक है और क्या इस्लामिक है, वो आपके स्क्रिप्चर्स में ही आप बताएं सईदा जी. सईदा जी
कैसे बोल सकते हैं?
नहीं, मैं कह रहा सईदा जी, जैसा आपने कहा ना कि एक बार अगर मस्जिद बन गई तो बन गई, वो मस्जिद कहां बनी है तब उसको मस्जिद डीम किया जाता है? आपके स्क्रिप्चर्स में ही लिखा है. आप जरा वो बताइए ना. सी दैट्स व्हाट आई एम ट्राइंग टू से. व्हाई आर यू सेलेक्टिवली पिकिंग एंड चूजिंग? व्हाई आरंट यू टॉकिंग इन होल मैन? Why aren't you talking? And that's where I am asking the question. Final word, Nirwa Mehta. I am asking this question very clearly. The party whose leader goes and puts a chadar at Aurangzeb's mazar. It's the same group of people who can see the structure of a temple over which a mosque has been built, who know what the scriptures believe because they are part of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board and supposed to be the custodians of Islam in India. That's how they portray themselves. But they will still ignore what the scriptures actually say. The tenets of the scriptures actually say as to what will be deemed a place of prayer, a rightful place of prayer as per Islam. Nirwa Mehta. So is this all lost on everybody, even the courts of our country?
See, it is unfortunate that this happened because this reminds me of the time when Haqqani Networks,
it was a mandir.
A fellow went to
ma'am, it is so unfortunate, Saida ji, that as a citizen of India in 2022 you would make a statement like that people are just thinking it is a figment of imagination. I would request you, ma'am, to come with me and come with any one of us in this panel to Gyanwapi. Come with any one of us in this panel to Krishna Janm and Krishna Janmsthan or to Mathura. Come with any one of us in this panel to Ram Janm and then look at it and then you please tell me what has been done is right or wrong. Please go to Somnath one day and have a look, ma'am. That an entire temple, only the platform remains because the rest of it has been destroyed. So please don't say that it's a figment of somebody's imagination, because then you are insulting a fellow Hindu's faith or a fellow Hindustani's faith and belief. That is, you just now said that it is a figment of imagination. There is no temple structure there. That's what you said, ma'am. And so nonchalantly you said it. That itself shows your attitude, ma'am. Why did Akbaruddin Owaisi go to Aurangzeb's mazar in Aurangabad and then put a chadar there, ma'am? That's the question. Does he respect an Akranta over and above his fellow Indian citizens and their sentiment? That's the question, ma'am. Nirwa, Mehta, complete. I've got to wind up.
It reminds me of the time when Haqqani Network's leader went to the grave of Ghazni and said that, he hailed him as the great leader who destroyed the Somnath temple. It's similar to that. Ghaznavi destroyed Somnath temple, and the leaders then go and worship him and place chadar on his grave. And then there is Aurangzeb's grave, where the leaders, or Indian leaders, they go and offer chadar. Which appears like an insult to the fellow Hindus.
Why you people have problem with that?
You should have a problem, ma'am. As a Hindustani, as an Indian citizen, you should have a problem. You should have a problem on the fact that fellow Indians' faith, their belief, what is the Janm Sthan of their Ishq Devtas has been trampled upon in the past, and that has still not been attempted to be corrected in the true spirit of pluralism, in the true spirit of Sarva Dharma Sambhav, and any attempt to do it legally is being blocked. Now, there is a thought for introspection. The other part is, of course, this entire aspect of rabble-rousing, and is it being done only to purely get political mileage out of it? That question also remains. Ma'am, we'll wait for the 9th of January when the hearing on Places of Worship Act 1991 happens in the Supreme Court, and the 20th of January when the matter is further heard in the Mathura court. We'll see what the civil court, also has to say. I have to wind up for the moment. I thank you. You need to introspect, ma'am. Leaders of the AIMIM need to introspect and really think what their line is. Is it in favor of India, or is it in favor of those who wanted to destroy the very core of India? And are they in truly pluralistic in nature, really talking about every single member of Indian society? Thank you very much. We're going to wind up. We're going to take a very short break. When we come back, we turn the spotlight towards what Wang Yi has to say. Can his bhai tone be trusted, ladies and gentlemen? Stay with us.